And the first question, I think, is whether we want to have a title.
I'm going to let you figure that one out, but I'm going to go get your milk.
Oh, that's okay. I can drink it like this.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm very flexible. Should we have a title, do you think?
You're the filmmaker. I'm just a dumb subject.
Well, we could call it, what's today?
Today is...
Oh, I'm just getting this out. It's the 1st of December, isn't it?
No, it's the 30... Whatever the last day of November is.
30th. 11.
I've never much liked November.
30. 08.
How about the day before the first day of December?
Okay, we can do that. The day before.
Milk and a cookie.
Perfect.
Want me on this side or this side? Or am I not sitting? Do I get to sit?
You can do anything you want, Bob.
Okay, I want to drink my coffee.
I want to drink my coffee.
Okay.
Let's drink coffee.
All right. Turn off my phone.
Oh, yeah. I should do that too. Okay. You're pretty cerebral?
I think most of the activity is up here.
Up there. Yeah, that's going to be hard to catch.
Well, except when it comes out here.
Yeah, we're going to have a hard time with this, I can see already, but I think I can handle a little bit of it anyway. Yeah.
So.
But I think a little coffee will help. Let's take a pause. It's cold.
Yeah.
This?
This, yes.
What is that?
It's a cup that comes from Ashton's godmother's ceramic factory
Seriously?
in Sardinia.
Sardinia?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're just. They have beautiful, beautiful. Let me see if I have. Yeah. They're just gorgeous.
Whoa. Nice.
And they're handmade by by these artisans, and unfortunately, especially because of the problem with the dollar, I mean, things like this end up costing like $150, so nobody can afford to actually buy them.
Oh,
Fortunately,
really?
her godmother is really wealthy, so she can support this factory.
Whoa. I just touched it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Is that right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We go every summer. I'm one of the really lucky things about knowing Ashton is that she has this godmother with the most beautiful.
I like the 3 oranges in the dish.
How do they look in the dish?
Oh. There. That's very Renaissance.
Yeah.
Oh,
the most
Dutch.
beautiful piece of property or land I've ever seen in the world. I don't know. Do you know Sardinia at all?
No, I've never been there. I should.
It's both desert and water at the same time. So the desert literally comes down to the water, and so her land is.
I wouldn't have thought of Sardinia as desert.
It's very dry. So that, and the
Why is that? It's in the water. It should,
because it's southern
it should be
Italy.
getting spilled ocean seawater, evaporated seawater, dumping itself on the land
Except that
all the
it's dry
time.
a lot of the year, and the her particular piece of property looks out on a mile offshore is a 2 mile long piece of dolomite that is 1,500 feet high. So you're looking at a huge, huge rock. I mean, it takes up a large part of your field of vision, and the the sun rises behind it and sets
Wow.
behind it and then sets in front of it, and so you see the light changing all day. It's like a painting,
Wow.
but for 12 hours every day. A little different than this view.
Yeah, but this view is wonderful here too. And you've lived here for a long time.
It has all the jumbledness of the city.
Uh-huh. Oh, what, this view?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All the sort of irregular lines, and it's the wonder of old cities where things were not built to plan in the way they are in some new cities where everything is very regimented and every block looks the same. It's
Well, it certainly is changing.
it's like sort of London versus Paris. They both have their beauty, but Paris comes from its formality, not from its complexity. Mother grew up, spent her summers in Maine, where it's the red granite,
Oh,
and she married an Italian count who spent his summers in the Dolomites.
Whoa.
And they were wealthy, and this was just after World War II, and I think one of the main things they were doing was trying to decide where they were going to have their summer home.
Yeah.
And they had a boat, and they were just tooling around the Mediterranean, and or whatever sea the Sardinia's in. It's probably not quite the Mediterranean. And suddenly they come upon this piece of land where the rocks on the land are red granite, and then off of the coast is this piece of dolomite. So it was both of their sort of ideal in one place. And so they bought 800 acres and camped out for the first many years, and so they've had this place. Husband is no longer alive, but her grandmother's had this place since around 1950, and she, rather an idiosyncratic lady, and she decided at one point that, and I'm not sure how conscious this was on her part, but what she has done is she has set a standard for the absolute minimum requirement for gracious living. There's no electricity except in the kitchen.
Really? Wow.
In the summertime, down on the water, everybody lives in these little huts that have concrete floors and simple beds, no electricity, and it's interesting to me because in the sense that I understand that the material basis of our life in the West is not really supportable if you think about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
That we have to, we're going to have to live with less.
Yeah.
Her experiment has been interesting as to how little you can live with.
Is that right?
And have it be, quite wonderful.
Mm.
Because she's so wealthy, there are a lot of people that are taking care of you, and you're not taking care of yourself all the time. But I've actually often wanted to sort of take over the place and, do all our own cooking, and and try to take care of the place.
And the cups and the dishes, do they have some relation to this geological?
Yeah, well, there's there
must be some clay.
Up in the mountains, about 45 kilometers away from her place on the water. There's a town which has a clay, a special kind of clay, and she she was very enamored of Japanese pottery,
Ah,
and which is what this copies to some
yes,
extent.
yeah.
And she found a
Very
local artist who she's hired, employed for 20, 25 years, I guess, and they built a beautiful little factory. There's only 3 of them to work there, and they're able to make. They can make a lot more cups than people can buy. But every we go every summer, and every summer we do buy a bunch of stuff. We have a fantastic collection of it. It's the for me. It's every year we go, and I bring books with me that I sort of desperately want to read, and I'll spend as much of the day as possible sitting, looking out at the water, stoned, if I can, and reading, and consistently year after year, I've done some of my most important sort of thinking while there. It's a place where just completely, for some reason, it works for me. It lets me completely slow down. Excuse me. And
A Thoreau kind of thing, or
it's not
no?
that Thoreauvian in the sense it's not that I'm alone. It's just that I'm just happy. I mean, Ashton will tell you it's like the other woman. It's the only time I've ever fallen in love with a place.
Yeah, I've done that. I've fallen in love with a place. Yeah.
Where everything is sort of right.
How about the computer? What does it do? That's not love? Need? Look at this Mac.
I don't know. That Mac behind there. Yeah, that's not mine.
That's not yours?
No, that's mine over there.
Oh, yeah? Wait.
Under the telephone.
Under this one?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one we want to find out about. Okay. Doesn't look like too much.
It's not, and it becomes. I'm trying to think. I wouldn't mind at all a world without computers, but I'm not going to be But I don't want to. For me, at this point, to give up computers would be sort of to absent myself from the world I live in, and I'm not sort of willing to do that. I am very conscious of the fact that the computer is bringing about a shift in human consciousness that is much deeper than anything that we've seen before. And I'm both profoundly nostalgic about what we're losing and very nervous about what's coming. On the other hand,
Oh, let's go into that futurist thing a minute. So what is it? What is it? What's your dystopic vision? Because you get to have one. Everybody does.
I basically, I think that we are pretty unconsciously building the Borg. That we are, a friend of mine, that's her phrase, but that, we are building machines that will eventually have as much intelligence or more intelligence than we do. And we're doing it in such a way that we're not really thinking about, we're doing it ass backwards. Instead of sort of thinking about the world we'd like to inhabit, and then building the technology that would make that world. Because everything is driven by profit, people just sort of go pell-mell and develop things because they're cool, because they can, without thinking about the long-term implications of them. And I think that we are very likely coming into a period where a very bifurcated society, where a small number of people at the top have both the knowledge and the power to create the future, and everybody else becomes somewhat routinized and regimented in the structure of their lives.
Like Latin America?
I mean, poor like Latin America, perhaps, but no, more like the Matrix. I mean, I think that if I had a dystopic view, I mean, I think the Matrix is pretty close to it. You know, I mean, I think that some people already live like that. You know, I think that, you know, the sort of the pod-like existence of humans, you know, in their homes, connected to computers and television, and you know, or the mall or the school, which is sort of equally sort of deadening in terms of what it allows people to think about. So I'm not very hopeful at the moment. I don't. But the problem about not being hopeful was that I grew up in an age, sort of the height of the cult of the individual. You know, we grew up sort of be all that you can be, and that was sort of the arc of human existence. Sort of, you know, gets to us sort of at the. Sorry.
It's okay.
Let me just actually turn it off. Settings.
Oh, you can leave it on.
No.
I don't mind. If you
yeah,
don't.
but I don't.
Except we got to the arc of human existence,
Yeah, I mean, just
and then
that I think that
and then the phone rang.
Right. I think that in a lot of ways, the dystopic view is that we all become sort of extensions of the machine. The utopic view is that humans learn how to. I turned the fucking thing off. I thought I did.
This is an example.
Right. Of the machines, which I once more settings.
Yeah.
Airplane mode on. There we go. X. End your phone call.
Air-
Yes, end it. No. I see. I got it. Enable. Okay. Very good. The utopic view is that humans will figure out some mechanism of ways to be truly collaborative, where instead of sort of the capitalist model of, you know, each person out for herself trying to maximize their status in the world, that we really do go into a period of cooperation and collaboration, which is sort of necessary at this point. I mean, humans, it's no longer for an individual to master a subject matter. You know,
Are these ideas that?
perhaps in the 18th century, you know, somebody could know chemistry,
Yeah.
but now, you know, an individual can't know a subset of a subset of a subset of a subset of chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not. You may find this hard to believe, but it is not. There have actually been scientific papers in the last several years with 2,500 authors.
Is that possible?
Yes, and because in the sciences they are learning actually how to be collaborative.
Yeah.
In this sense, and so in the utopic view, that, you know, that does happen, but in a lot of ways, those of us who grew up in the '60s and our children, who I think sort of are the two generations who are the sort of most sort of oriented towards the role of the individual. It's not clear to me that we're the best ones to design and architect the future.
But, you know, I'd be interested to know if these general ideas have been with you long enough that they've motivated you, and you've done some things that are pretty spectacular in terms of organizing the society and the commerce around you, the culture around you, and, you know, I wonder if those things were sort of like motivated more by habit, opportunity, and so forth, or did you actually sort of have some of these ideas of principle in mind and that were regulating these things, you know? like Ben and Jerry did,
I think that
I don't think they did actually.
I mean, interestingly, I've thought for a while that I used to think the answer to that question was no, but but then again, a couple of years ago, I've been giving a talk for the last couple of years, which has in it a revelation that I claim I had on a bus to Cornell in 2004. That the revelation is it's all about the network, meaning that in the early part of my sort of second career as a publisher, I thought that the future of the book was to add audio and video to the page.
Yeah.
And that it took me until 2004 to realize that locating a work in a network was actually more profound than adding audio and video to it. So I thought
You skip past that, but that's pretty big.
But then
That's pretty good.
But what's interesting is it's not in this book, I think, but it's in another one of the Sarai readers. That's a group in Delhi. I was in Germany last fall and bought a copy of the Sarai reader, I think from 2003.
Yeah.
And there's an interview with me in it from the New York Times in 2000, in which I'm saying the same thing. So I realized that I suddenly realized, oh, this idea has been with me a while. And then I was thinking about the fact that in 1992, when I published the first electronic books, when we published them, we actually created on something called CompuServe. The community of readers.
Yeah.
With the idea that if you bought an electronic book, you would go on to CompuServe into this forum, and you could talk to other people reading the same book.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of putting people together into the idea of putting readers into a shared space was something that evidently I've been playing with for a long time, even though I sort of thought it was actually this is a good little visual.
Cool.
So these are drawings that I commissioned in 1981, and these were scenarios of how people would use an intelligent encyclopedia if they had one. So this is a father giving his son a sort of tour of 1960s rock and roll, and so this is a screen, right? This is a terminal, and the father is controlling the screen from the terminal and showing his kid different things. Mm-hmm. And so, the one on the top is a businessman on an airplane. This is like years before there were notebooks, right? Notebook computers. Studying something. That's a rancher in California whose the wine business is down, and he's wondering if he can build. If he can change his land to rice production, so he's querying the encyclopedia about rice production, and let's come back to that one last. Actually, This is there's just been an earthquake, and I can't imagine why they think they're going to turn to their computer to find out what to do. Kids in the Natural History Museum running around with terminals, connecting them to the encyclopedia, just asking the questions that occur to them. Similar, this was a bar games out of the encyclopedia, and this is a mother and her children in Laguna Beach, and they're asking the encyclopedia about things they're seeing in a tide pool. And I love the fact that there's an antenna here, because we obviously, even in 1981, this is years before cell phones. Where's the antenna? Right here.
Yeah.
We assumed it was wireless. Mm-hmm. The one on the top is interesting because it's a father. It's an architect. Excuse me, studying Asian motif for a building he's working on in New York, while a teacher in Tokyo is teaching her class about Western architecture. Well, we put the two of those together because they were both about architecture. What's interesting was it never occurred to anybody that I know that those two people would have anything to say to each other. There was none of these. In every one of these cases, people are using the encyclopedia. It's an archive. Right? They're querying it and getting an answer back. It never occurred to us that it would be more important putting the people together in the network. That's where the real power of it would be.
Yeah.
And,
What's happening here?
this is. I think they're playing it. They're playing a game that's based on the encyclopedia, no, I guess there's. Oh no,
like putting
they're
people
studying
together.
wine. Excuse me, they're studying wine.
This looks like dating or.
Yeah. But so I did these with Alan Kay at Atari. We hired a Disney animator who drew these for us.
Really?
Yeah. We were trying to convince Warner's to spend $1 billion to build this. And,
Yeah. To build what?
to build the intelligent encyclopedia.
Really?
Yeah.
And
They didn't do it.
and what are these here?
Oh yeah, these
Actually,
are Rick Preller.
Rick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Rick, who's an old friend of mine.
I love these two. I guess I named them. They were,
Ephemeral. Yeah.
No. Ephemeral Films was Rick's, but
yeah.
This one I was most proud of. This one, You Can't Get There From Here, which was about To New Horizons was the 31 to 45 when, Rick's films. These are Rick's films about all the found footage of things that were never meant to be kept.
Yeah.
And Rick's theory that the truth was contained in them much more clearly than it was in Hollywood films. And so the 31 to 45 is this period in American history when they basically thought the machines would save us, and that the future was was going to be bright because of the machines that were going to be built. And then post World War II, when particularly women get sort of forced back into the home and everything sort of gets really dark and where the future doesn't look so bright, and so we named it You Can't Get There From Here, meaning that the bright future was actually not going to be as simple as people thought.
But putting these out was sort of going out on a limb.
Not really.
No.
No, there was.
They're surprising.
I don't know. I guess people often think I'm actually not that weird as people think I am. I'm just sort of, the things I like, usually other people like. So I've actually been able to, if I really like something, I can assume there's going to be some market for it.
Well, I did, but I assume the opposite. I assume that if I like it,
it's got a small market. Yeah. But I see, I'm not, I'm not an avant-garde artist in that sense, I'm fairly, excuse me, would you like some more coffee?
sure,
Can we make mine
more
first?
coffee.
We'll make mine first because mine's already sitting in here. No, I think that, I had this very, very lucky trajectory in life where I ended up, being sort of the child of liberal New Yorkers who went to all kinds of fancy schools and ended up sort of, child of the 60s. And so thinking that another world was possible and that we could actually, that the possibilities were limitless was exciting. And, then the civil rights movement and the black liberation struggle and war movement came along. And so, I sort of gave myself over to it and all of its idealism. And